Hello there. My name is Tyra and this is my channel. In this video, I am going to be drawing in my sketchbook. Let's get into it. I like to start in the corner of the page because when I start in the middle, it seems like it doesn't flow all the way. I actually have always written books since I was little, but recently I've decided to, try and take it more seriously and maybe finish one of my books because I've never finished a book, which is crazy because I have so many stories. I still have a lot of hope that maybe one day I can become a published author. I do want to go in the route of self-publishing. I will look into traditional publishing and stuff, but I think it might be easier to self-publish these days. I don't know if it's ever been easy to traditionally publish, but with, what is that thing with Amazon? I don't know exactly what it's called, but there's something with Amazon where you can self-publish. I still have no idea what it's called. And I stopped myself from doing art and kind of these types of pattern drawings for a while because I was convincing myself that it wasn't even real art, but that doesn't make any sense. Anything that you create is art. If you like creating, you're pretty much an artist. You don't have to be established or sell things to be an artist. It's really just creating things. So I think anyone can be an artist, and I found that definition of an artist from someone else because of how discouraged I was about my own art, that I needed to look for answers like, how do you become a real artist? And in all actuality, a real artist is just someone who makes art. I mean, I guess the point can be argued with a bunch of different people. You can argue that, no, you're not an artist if you use Crayola markers, or, it depends on your equipment or whatever. But I just really don't agree with that. We can disagree. I don't mind disagreeing with people. Being right is overrated. If it makes you feel more better about drawing or about your artwork, you don't have to be super good. I'm still pretty terrible at anatomy. I'm not really great at drawing bodies, so that's why most of my art on here is just faces, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I will take my steps as slow as I need to. There's no real rush. When I start to put pressure on myself to become a certain way because, other people have already got it down, then I start to dislike art. I start to not want to create things, which is not okay. I should not make myself hate something that I love, I think that's a reason why I stopped writing for a while as well, because I seen so many people my age, I was 11 at the time, already having books being published, and I was just thinking to myself, how come they can do this and I still haven't finished a story, I was very discouraged by that, but you should never compare yourself to someone else. You should only compare yourself to yourself. That's the only way that you can grow. If you start looking at what other people are doing, you're never gonna grow because you're never gonna be like that other person. You can only be yourself, really. I mean, maybe in another lifetime you can be a seahorse or a polar bear, whatever you want, if there's an option. But in this life, you can only be yourself. So I feel like it shouldn't be a thing to compare, even though I know that our minds, human minds, technically it just goes that way, and that's just something that we tend to do as humans. But still, I feel like I feel sad for other people, and I feel sad for my younger self because I always compared myself to everybody else that was in my life, their achievements and whatever it is that they were doing. Even though my mother never compared me to other children because she knew that I was different from other children, so that wasn't even a thing that she was going to do. She's like, my child is my child and she is the way that she is, and that is fine. But I did it to myself. I personally compared myself to other people. Even though my mom never did, she would always tell me to not compare myself, and I didn't even think that that was what I was doing, which is how toxic comparison is. I just wanted to be like them, or that's what I was telling myself, but in reality I wanted to be better than them, which is not okay. I didn't even know any of the struggles that this person could be going through, anything that this person was facing. Just because it seemed like they had it all together didn't mean that they did. I wanted to be the person who could make a bunch of friends, a person who could be very social in public, but that is just not me, and that is okay. It took me a long time to accept who I am, and I still really haven't completely accepted myself, but I am no longer comparing myself to other people. I see attributes in other women that I would like to have for myself. At the end of the day, I know that those women themselves have things about themselves that they do not enjoy, which is why I have to stop and think before I blindly compare myself to everybody else, because we're all going through it. Which is why I don't understand why there's such a large idea around beauty standards, because no one will ever fit into the beauty standard of the time. There's always gonna be a time when you won't fit the beauty standard, because beauty standards change all of the time. So you're never gonna be picture perfect beauty, or what people are saying is beautiful at the time. Everyone has their own unique beauty. Even if you don't think you're pretty, someone out there does think that you are pretty, and you just have to accept that. You just have to accept that you are pretty. You're pretty whether or not you like it, whether or not you think so, whether or not you want to accept it. You are freaking gorgeous. And not even just girls, of course guys too. I'm just saying girls because I am a girl and I have the experience as a girl. I think the guy thing is really about height. I don't see how the height plays a factor in it really, but the only thing I could think of is photos. Maybe photos may be strange if the height difference is so large. That's the only thing I can possibly think of. But tall girls also feel that they don't have a place because of their height as well, which has never made sense to me. I don't think I'll ever really truly understand the height thing. I think it's from the outside looking in, how other people are looking at you, because how other people view us really affects how we think. I know some people say that it doesn't affect them, but I just personally think it's a lie. I feel like every single person is somewhat affected by what an outsider has to say about them, whether or not they want to admit it. You know what I mean? Because the things that words hurt a lot. I don't think that every experience is unique to a single person. I do think that we all have somewhat similar experiences. That's why we can relate as humans. What's crazy to me is that I feel like we don't really talk about what makes us sad. Mental health is, I think it's still a little bit taboo, even though it's talked about more these days. I still think that especially older people do not understand mental health, even though they have their own mental health issues. They're like, just ignore it and go to work and, you know, be miserable for the rest of your life. Because even if it's not something that you enjoy doing, you have to survive, you have to pay the bills, which is true. What they're saying about that is true. You have to survive. You have to survive. There's no other option except to survive. I mean, you could die. My thing about death, I don't know if I can talk about death, but I'm going to talk about death. I feel that I could not commit suicide because not only would I feel bad for everybody else in my family who cares about me, but even in those times when I didn't think that anybody cared about me at all, because, you know, when you are suicidal, you don't really think clearly. You think selfishly, and that's not your fault. It's your brain's fault. I'm not saying suicidal people are selfish, because they're not. They're mentally ill. They're having issues, right? But I do think that the type of thoughts that your brain gives you are selfish, and you aren't able to identify that because you're having such a hard time. Anyways, but my thing about suicide is the same thing as my thing about death. I have no idea where I go when I die. Even with religion, you know, I still don't know if I'm going to heaven or hell or whatever. Without religion, technically scientists have no idea where the fuck we go when we die. They don't even have any idea what dreams are, and people in comas are still able to dream, which is crazy to me that we don't have information on this strange phenomenon. The idea of death doesn't scare me, but I just think that how could I possibly know if death is better than life if I don't know what happens when we die? So what if death is worse than life? Why would I want to die if I could simply live? Even if life is shitty, what if living is better than death? What if your life gets shittier after you die? And I think for other people, it is the unknown that makes it more enticing to want to die. I don't think we don't really openly talk about suicide because I think it is a taboo topic. I feel like it shouldn't be taboo. I think it should be widely spoken about because it's a thing that keeps happening, and younger people are committing suicide. Babies are committing suicide, which is not okay. By babies, I mean 10 years old. That's a baby. Babies should not be wanting to die. We need to fix the mental health. Babies should not be dying in school shootings either. That's pretty fucked up. I'm scared all the time for my little cousins who still go to regular school because what if, let's just face it, some people are bad and some of those people are cops. I think there's a morality test when you become a cop, but I'm pretty sure that you can't have a super high IQ when you become a cop, which is what I heard. I don't know. But if that's true, that's fucking weird. Why would they not want you to be able to think logically? Wouldn't you want someone who's really good at thinking on their feet if they're going to become a police officer, if they're going to become a person that you give a gun? Wouldn't it be kind of, I don't know, preferred if they were great at thinking quickly, if they were intelligent? But I don't know. Maybe that's just my thought. I don't like talking too much about police because I don't want to end police. We need police. We need people to stop bad people from doing things. But we also need police to not be bad. You know, I don't want there to not be police at all because there are some good cops. Do I know any? No, I don't know anyone who's been a cop or anything. But I'm sure they exist for sure. The reason why I'm sure they exist is because there are a bunch of fucking terrible people in the world, right? And somebody catches them. Possibly, maybe, drugs should just be legal. Because I feel like if you make it all legal, people can't, oh shit! Ugh. Gosh, dang it. I almost dropped the entire camera. But I do feel like if you were to make drugs legal, then people can't really sell it illegally. They would find something else to sell illegally, but just continue to make it legal, right?
then it won't be as much of a hype to sell it, because they won't be getting anything out of it. You could just get it, you know, at the local store. I'm not promoting the use of drugs. I think, of course, drugs are bad. Drugs fuck up people's lives. When you get addicted, you get addicted, and it's really sad, you know? What are you supposed to do? Just suddenly not be addicted? It takes a lot of work. You turn into a really bad person when you become a drug addict. I've never met a super nice drug addict when they're, you know, when they have no drugs. They could be nice potentially when they have something in their system, but without it, withdrawal symptoms are hectic, bro. They really hurt people, and it's so sad to witness. It happens to so many people, and then their family doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And can you really blame their family? Because I don't blame their family, because why would you want to have something to do with a toxic, angry, violent person? You don't. You know, talking about the fact that mental health exists isn't enough, because mental health leads people to become addicts of things, and mental health leads people to commit suicide and do really terrible things. We don't have a way to fucking fix it. I don't think we need to be going into war and doing all this dumb shit. We should be trying to fix the people who already exist here instead of fucking killing them. I don't know. That would probably be a better idea, in my opinion. But, I mean, that's not happening, obviously. The world's not gonna change just because someone complains. I complain all the time and the world's still the same.